Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the channel. It's your boy, World of Wrestling, here today to discuss about AEW Dynamite, March 11, 2026 review. I thought this show overall was fairly decent when it came to the wrestling. Not a whole lot of story occurred. Seemed like Tony Khan was giving us a prelude to what to expect for AEW Revolution. The matches were pretty entertaining, I'd have to admit. They had a ending segment with MJF and Hangman Page, which I thought was okay. The press conference idea I have talked about a lot on this channel, and I've said that that would be a very cool idea to do. And I think the idea they were taking was the right way to go. It just felt like it was kind of like disconnected from the show. I think the setting would have been a lot better had it been done in front of the crowd instead of being backstage. It just feels like it wasn't really part of the show. It kind of felt like it was like a pre-recorded segment, which kind of felt like it was disconnected from the rest of the audience, which the fans were kind of very unsatisfied with this segment until the brawl came out in front of them. I thought the questions were pretty generic. Not really anything to cry home about, except for the last question where they asked Hangman Page, what if you were to lose this match and you could no longer challenge for the world title, who's Hangman Page to AEW at that point? And that got MJF really happy and excited, so he's like, hey, you guys like to toast to shit. How about we go ahead, have 2 beers, and we can toast to you never challenging for a world title ever again for the rest of your career. This is where the whole situation went downhill for MJF in this press conference. He slapped the beer right out of his hand, and then MJF threw his beer into Hangman Page's face, and then it all turned into a big giant brawl. The ending of this entire fiasco was when they are about to give us a taste of what Texas Death Match is supposed to be like, where he pulls out a plank with barbed wire attached to it, and Hangman tries to throw MJF on top of this plank with the barbed wire, and it doesn't work in his favor. He actually runs away. And that's how the show goes off the air for that. I thought that was fairly good at the end. I think the questions again were very generic except for the last one. And the press conference idea I think was fantastic. I just think it was disconnected from the crowd. So I give them A for effort, but it was a fail when it came to execution. I wasn't really feeling it either. I felt very like the crowd was. I didn't feel like this was any good in the sense that it didn't feel like it was part of the show. It felt like it was just, pre-recorded and wasn't actually taking place in person with them. So you don't have that same kind of feeling, and it just feels like something you could watch on a YouTube clip or something. That was the one downside I'd say about the press conference at the end of the day. So the fans did have a right. There was a disconnection there, and I just wasn't feeling it either. The matches on the card. We had Mike Bailey going after the TNT Championship. I thought this was a fun fucking match. I don't understand why we're putting Mike Bailey and Kyle Fletcher in a matchup that's so stiff and feels more like a pay-per-view quality match that could have been on Revolution, and then they're going to face each other again in a 6-man tag team match over the Trios tag team titles. So it kind of feels a little weird to be putting them in this kind of matchup. The match almost went to a draw almost. And the quality of the match was fine. I think the match was very entertaining, but it just, I don't feel like it was necessary. That's where I have an issue with that match taking place, because they're already facing each other at the pay-per-view. I'm going to admit something to you guys. I'm really starting to feel like week-to-week televised wrestling is not really it for people anymore. I think if we were to get, like, once every couple of weeks a major event like the Indies do it, I think people would embrace it a bit more because it's not shoved up our asses. The creators can't really seem to come up with anything new and visionary, anything in visionary anymore. It just feels like the shows are just there. It feels like the action is there. It's fun. It's enjoyable to sit through. But to see this on a week-to-week basis, I mean, it's like, I'm sorry, but if this is a predetermined show, you gotta have story if you're having it week-to-week. If you want to have it like every couple of weeks, having an event, that's fine and dandy. I prefer it like that because wrestling today can't seem to find stories. They just can't seem to develop anything anymore. It just feels like they're there. I think that's another reason why it's just so fucking bland to sit through nowadays. But the match itself, Mike Bailey and Kyle Fletcher, awesome matchup, but unnecessary match to put on the card when they're already going to be facing each other in a 6-man tag team match for the Trios tag team titles. We had also Willow Nightingale defending her TBS Women's Championship against a female wrestler from CMLL who became the women's champion there, beating Mercedes Moné. And her opponent, give me one moment, it was actually Persephone. I think I'm mispronouncing that. But yeah, she did a pretty good job in that matchup. This match, I gotta say, the ending of it, I think, was kind of a smart move on Tony Khan's part to book the ending like this because it does protect Persephone and Willow Nightingale. The match did go back and forth. Willow Nightingale didn't finish her with a finisher. Finish her with her finishing maneuver, I mean. She rolled her up in a really good pinfall. A roll-up pinfall that really worked. Her shoulders were really planted into the mat, making it very difficult for her to be able to move her shoulders around. And she was pressed flat on the mat. She was like very stiff to the mat. I thought it was a very nice way to end the matchup in a very close contest. Not hurting Persephone in the process. Making her look strong in defeat. So I thought this was a very smart move on Tony Khan's part. I didn't really have anything against it. This match was okay to book. I mean, Willow Nightingale's got nothing going on for Revolution, so this was a nice little add-on to the card for tonight. And the new CMLL Women's Champion didn't look bad in this match in defeat, so I think both parties won. Persephone got a good match with Willow Nightingale. Willow Nightingale got to retain her championship in good fashion. So I thought Tony Khan did a fantastic job with this matchup. I didn't really have an issue the way they booked this match. So good work by both of these ladies. The other match that I thought was actually fairly decent. Darby Allin and Orange Cassidy going up against Gabe Kidd and David Finlay of the Dogs. I thought this match and the presentation of introducing David Finlay in his debut match was fair. I think this was good. Clark Connors interfered in the middle of this match, eliminating Orange Cassidy out of the mix, making it a handicap match. After the match, though, this is where I kind of did have an issue. Connors comes to the ring as the Dogs look to continue a beatdown. We then see Roderick Strong make his way to the ring, and the Dogs look to offer Cassidy over to Roderick Strong, but Roddy sends Orange crashing into Connors instead. This turns things around as Darby goes on the attack with the skateboard as Roddy hits a neck breaker or backbreaker on Kid, and the Dogs retreat outside the ring and up the ramp as Strong gives a hearted high five to Cassidy to take us to a commercial break. This I had an issue with because Roderick Strong has already recently turned on Cassidy in a tag team matchup a couple of weeks or maybe a month ago and left him high and dry. This makes absolutely no fucking sense. He ain't part of the conglomeration. Now he's helping Orange Cassidy, who is part of the conglomeration. This makes absolutely no fucking sense. And this was a really bad move. Illogical move. This is something I had a problem with on this show. I thought this was absolutely fucking stupid. But the match itself before that was really entertaining. I thought it was a good matchup. I didn't really have any issues with this match at all. Brody King had a matchup. Nothing really exciting happened there with his squash match, obviously. But what happened after the match was the important part. King starts to celebrate at ringside before a disguised Swerve blindsides him and brings him into the ring to choke Brody out with a steel chain. But Brody King actually breaks the chain apart to escape. He sends Strickland into the corner, setting up for a cannonball. He grabs the chain and wraps it around his arm before choking out Swerve with a sleeper until Nana tries to break it up. This distracts King long enough for Swerve to break free, slamming King's arm over the rope, over the top rope, and he and Nana regroup up the ramp as we cut away. So, I think that was pretty good. This definitely gives you a sign Swerve Strickland more than likely is winning this matchup. I don't think he's losing this match. I mean, we had the opener of the show kickstarting it with, I'm kind of just going all over the place. I'm not really going in order here. The Death Riders with Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli won against the Don Callis family that had Takeshita and Hechicero. Hechicero ends up losing the matchup, so Takeshita may have ended up losing this match, but wasn't the one who took the pinfall in this match. So that's a plus. And I think Takeshita is going to walk away with the Continental Championship, leading into a match with him and Okada one-on-one for the titles between the Continental and International Championships to be unified once more. Why they broke it up in the first place, to me, makes no sense. It should have just been the unified championship, and that being the end of all of it. So anyway, after the match is over, their celebration for the Death Riders is cut short as Lance Archer runs into the ring, followed by the rest of the Don Callis family as they go after both men in the ring. Marina comes into the ring and she is laid out by Archer as Takeshita is handed a steel chair. but he refuses to use it, dropping the chair instead. This gets the rest of the family riled up until Don Callis tries to defuse the situation. Everyone by Takeshita leaves the ring, and the Alpha letting Mox know he wants the title on Sunday before leaving the ring himself. So there is definitely dissension amongst the Don Callis family with Takeshita. That's kind of interesting. I don't know if that means that we might be seeing Takeshita kicked out of the Don Callis family like we did with Finn Balor with the Judgment Day, but that could be a possibility. And then he ends up winning the International Championship, becoming the Unified Champion this time around, and bringing back the Unified Championship belt itself. Backstage, we hear from Willow Nightingale and Persephone. They're set to face each other for Willow's TBS Championship. They have a friendly chat about who hit harder in beating Mercedes Moné for their respective titles, and wish each other luck in the match before they walk off. So that's just meaningless crap to fill in time, I guess. We then head backstage where Don Callis hypes up Kyle Fletcher until MJF interrupts. He asks Fletcher to do him a favor and beat Bayley up. But Kyle doesn't take kindly to this, as he tells the world champion he's going to beat Bayley up for himself. And MJF tells Don he better teach his boys how to speak to the world champion before he walks off. I like that segment. Kyle tells Callis he hopes he hopes Don isn't actually working for this son of a bitch. Callis assures him that isn't the case as Dynamite rolls on. So, yeah. Anyway, I have already discussed about the TNT Championship bout, who won that, my thoughts on that. So after the match is over, Fletcher celebrates the not-so-clean victory as we go to a commercial break. We then head back to ringside where Brody King had a fight with the local talent in a squash match. I already discussed about the Darby Allin Orange Cassidy match against the Dogs. So nothing important there. Roderick Strong making his return with Orange Cassidy, not making any lick of sense. So after the Willow Nightingale match, the Willow celebrates as we get a video package hyping up our main event, looking at how we got tonight's trios match as Mark Briscoe teams with the Young Bucks to take on FTR and Tommaso Ciampa. We then head back to backstage where Willow Nightingale is feeling the rush after retaining her title moments ago. She addresses defending the tag titles at Revolution before issuing a challenge to Lena Cross to defend the TBS title during 0 Hour. I don't understand the point of that, but whatever. We then get the main event for wrestling. The last match of the night was Dem Boys with Mark Briscoe, Matt and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks, against FTR, Dax Hardwood, and Cash Wheeler, and Tommaso Ciampa. Tommaso Ciampa ends up picking up this victory for his team. Him turning into a heel instantly after he just came into AEW and trying to mirror image what he did with Johnny Gargano at NXT's TakeOver event back in 2016, I think it was, or 17. I honestly do not get why we had to go in this direction right now when he just got here. I mean, the last week's episode, I do remember recalling Tommaso Ciampa knocking one of the FTR members in the face. I think it was Dax Hardwood he hit in the face because of some words that were exchanged between the two of them. And now, the same week, Tommaso Ciampa I think he had a match and then attacked Mark Briscoe the same way he did to Johnny Gargano, and we're supposed to feel some sort of feeling towards this? Where does this make any fucking sense? I mean, don't get me wrong, Tommaso Ciampa as a heel will work out fine, but he just got here. He was playing as a babyface. Now he's playing as a heel. How's he supposed to get back to the TNT title with him being a heel? What, we're going to have a heel versus heel with Kyle Fletcher and Tommaso Ciampa? This was a stupid move. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I just said, I think he'll work out fine as a heel, but he has no pathway now to the TNT title, which I kind of figured that would be the direction that they go with Tommaso Ciampa. After the Revolution pay-per-view, we should see a build between Kyle Fletcher and Tommaso Ciampa over the TNT title. Instead, I don't know where we're going with Tommaso Ciampa. Outside of building a blood feud between Tommaso Ciampa and Mark Briscoe, I mean, that's a direction they could go with. And they could go with a number one contenders match that builds up towards Dynasty, and then crowning that number one contender. They could have some sort of, carnage matchup between the two of them instead of some normal match, which clearly I don't think Mark Briscoe is going to have when he has a feud with Tommaso Ciampa now. So I'd imagine they're probably going to lead to some sort of violent matchup, like an ambulance match, a tables match, a hardcore match, whatever. A street fight, whatever you want to call it. And that's what I think is going to happen with that. That's the best way you can go, but then that also involves the fact that Tommaso Ciampa wins, we're getting heel versus heel at like Double or Nothing or something. I'm not quite sure with the direction that they were trying to go with, but I honestly don't see this as a positive move in Tommaso's direction towards the TNT title, because I think the TNT title fits him for right now at this point where he just came into the AEW, and I thought they had him on the right path. Now he's just like trying to find his way back to the direction he should have been on. So I don't know, man. It seems very fucking retarded, honestly, but it is what it is at this point. So I already went over the press conference conversation about that. That was the last segment on the show, so that is pretty much the overall review. Again, I thought the show was fair. I didn't think it was bad. There was not a lot of story being told. Really, to be quite frankly, it felt a lot more like I was watching a prelude to a pay-per-view event, and this was just more like giving us a small taste of what Revolution might turn out to be, a fun, entertaining wrestling extravaganza, but nothing more, nothing less. So, I mean, the two important matches that took place tonight two important stories that were told tonight was the MJF and Hangman Page match for Revolution, and Brody King and Swerve, and the rest of it was just matches thrown together with guys that are going to be facing each other at the pay-per-view, while also protecting the whole situation, but still kind of giving away clues of what the end result's going to be at those events. Or at that event, I should say. So, that's your review, guys. I don't know how you guys felt about the show. I thought it was okay. I thought it was a fun show. But, if you didn't watch it, it's not a big deal. I'm looking forward to Revolution, honestly. I think Revolution is going to be a fun, entertaining 4+ hour show. I hope that he can put it under 4 hours, maybe like 3.5 hours, 3 hours and 45 minutes. Something like that. I'm okay with 3 hours and 45 minutes at least, maximum. I mean, if I just wish you would stop doing these long, drawn-out fucking pay-per-view events. And if you're going to do them earlier, especially on a Sunday. Like, what the fuck? People got to work the next day. So, I don't know if I'm going to give you guys the review the day of after the event ends, because it is on a Sunday and I have to work the next day. And I'm probably going to be exhausted after sitting through and watching it. So, more than likely, I'm going to give you guys that review Monday night, right before Monday Night Raw goes on the air. And that's pretty much what I'm going to do at this point with Revolution. So keep an eye out for that. But anyway, guys, at this time, you know what to do. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel. And leave a comment down below. I'll definitely get back to you on that. Thank you guys very much for watching. And have a great night, guys. Bye.